Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. We are back again with Brother Tariq. Jazakallah khair, brother, for showing up again. And we have hopefully it's not a final session, but we want to do a final session on marriage and divorce and all that. And this time we want to have this session specifically designated for divorce, the processes that go along with it, and then rights and duties. And the same thing with Khula, because there are some misunderstanding of Khula and what it means and how it's done and all that. So if you could educate us on that, that'd be great. Jazakallah khair, brother.
Well, Jazakallah khair. When it comes to, I think in the beginning, in the first set, we were talking about how many marriages were ending in divorce. You said about 30% for the Muslims, and I believe it's a little bit more than that. I think it's almost double that.
Oof.
Yeah.
Like 60%?
Yeah, it's above that, when it comes to it. And there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things based on a lack of knowledge and understanding, right? You have a talak, when the man decides that he wants to remove himself from the marriage, and he pronounces divorce, and if he has a desire, and it's 3 times, there's something in Islam that says that the divorce is in the hands of the man. And that means that he has opportunity to, or he can divorce his wife. And then if he decides before the waiting period, which is 90 days, then he can take her back. But that one divorce still counts as one.
One divorce.
One divorce.
One strike.
One strike, yeah. And then if either he can say that he withdraw that, it's still one divorce, or if they end up talking and then they become intimate, that's the same thing. It stops that divorce at that particular time, right? Then if he decides to do it again, he can. And the position of the mahar that he gave her, the woman keeps that, right? If he divorces her,
So in case of divorce, she gets to keep the dowry.
Whatever the dowry was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And gold, whatever it is he gave.
Whatever it was, gold, Mercedes,
the palace, everything.
Whatever, yeah, the Eiffel Tower, whatever he gave her, alhamdulillah, And even in the process of that, it should be, people should still fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way they should have feared Allah when they first got married.
That's right.
It's not a way, because you're 2 Muslims. The beautiful thing about Islam is whenever you get married, it's 2 relationships in one. It's husband and wife, and you're also brother and sister in Islam, So, the same way that you would respect and honor your sister or brother, is the same way you should honor in the event that you divorce. It's not supposed to bring about hatred. You're still supposed to, have a love and a fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regarding that person, And so, but in the case of the woman wanting, that's a talak.
That's
the talak, right? In the case of the woman who wants to remove herself, she cannot divorce herself. It has to be with an imam or a qadi, Islamic judge, somebody that would, facilitate that process.
You said Islamic judge, not the judge downtown.
Not the judge downtown.
Yeah.
No, we're talking Islam right now.
Yes.
Right. And so hers is, it's not really, a khula and a divorce is 2 different things. The divorce, you know what I mean? A khula is when the woman is removing herself from the marriage.
So she's the one who initiates the problem.
Right, initiate it and have someone else facilitate it. And what a lot of brothers don't realize is that they don't have to approve a woman removing herself. If they go to the proper channels, they don't have to, because nobody has to be married to anybody they don't want to be married to. And she feels like she is being abused, disrespected, dishonored, anything like that, and it becomes unbearable, has an effect on her iman, all of those different type of things, which she fears for her life or her safety, anything like that. And she proves that, whatever it is that is creating a lot of problems for her emotionally, this, that, and the other, then she goes to Islamic judge or an imam, and let him know. And then then the imam or the qadi cannot just say, well, okay, you're divorced, or, you got the khula. He have to contact the husband and let him know this is what your wife has filed. This is how we do it. If there's somebody, she, based on all of these things that she filed regarding the relationship, and she can't take it anymore. She doesn't want to be in there, and if you really want to try to reconcile, that we need to either meet, sometimes the sisters want to meet, or sometimes, it's been traumatic for them and they don't want to sit down and talk with them, but whatever the mahar is, she has to return that mahar.
In the case of khula.
In the case of khula. If it's $1,000, a new car,
so the car, the gold, the Mercedes,
whatever it is, it has to go back, unless the husband forfeits and says, I don't want it. You take it back. But the thing about it is that whenever there's a khula, if sometime the women may ask the husband, they'll say, give me a khula, right? That's not proper, right? Because any time that a husband has anything to do with the separation or the dissolving of the marriage, it automatically turns into a
divorce.
Talak. You understand? Because he's involved. The khula is used in the event
the woman and the judge.
Right, where the woman that the man doesn't want to release her.
Got it.
You understand?
Yes,
so then she have to give that. She can go and she's got to come up with that money, or she's got to come up with the gift. And there's one of the things that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, the smaller the mahar, the more the barakah, the more the blessing.
That's right.
Sometimes some of the women, they decide that they, when they get married, they use it as an opportunity to, get rich quick thing. You know what I mean? You got money, and give me some of that money, and you know what I mean? And all of that stuff has to be documented. If your sister just wants a ring, but she wants a real expensive ring, as the mahar, right? Then not only did she get the ring, but maybe she lost the ring. But, in the process of getting married, you got to document how much that ring costs. So if she don't have the ring, she got to pay for whatever it costs, because that's his right to get it back.
Of course.
Right? And so if the, sisters say, well, I want a khula, and the khula, and the brother said, well, I will not give you a khula. I don't approve of that. That's when they go to someone else in order to have that done, right? And then if the imam fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will always call the man. He send a letter to the man and say, this is what your wife has requested. We're trying to help facilitate that. We would like to be able to talk to both of you, like to be able to, counsel both of you to see what we can do in order to try to fix it. And if both of them want to fix the relationship, if both of them have a desire, to be in the marriage and just fix it, maybe sometime what I found is sisters will ask for a khula because generally the brother will not listen to her. So they use it as a manner in order to get his attention. That's not the right thing. You understand?
Like a shock.
Yeah, like a shock. Well, I don't need you. I'll go to the imam. I'll call, someone in order to get that. And then all of a sudden, maybe the brother don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear what you got to say. Shut up. Go sit down. Da 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 da.
Shut up and make me a sandwich.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then that happens on a regular, Shay. And then say, well, what do you want me to do? Well, I don't want to be with you. I already called in like that. So by the time they get a letter, communication, then what can we do? And then I asked them sometime, say, sisters, if the brother did, feared Allah regarding you and respected you and honored you, and try to help and assist you, just sit down with you, and try to be better, how you feel about the relationship.
Yeah.
And many of them say, I just want him to respect me, which is the right of the woman is to be respected and honored.
Of course.
Right? And so then they want to talk, and then sometimes, you bring them to the table, and have both of them, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know what I mean? And we able to tie the relationship back up based on that.
But some of them just wouldn't stop talking.
Well, that's true, and I remember, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he went to Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. He was having a problem with his wife, and his wife was running her mouth, and he couldn't stop her from running her mouth. And he said, everybody's scared of Umar. If I go to Umar and talk to Umar, he'll say something, maybe she'll shut that mouth. So when he got to Umar's home, he looked in, because Umar didn't have doors, he didn't have doors there blocking inside. And he looked in and he saw Umar's wife standing over him, screaming at him. So he turned around and he started walking. Umar looked out there and he saw him. He said, brother, can I help you? But Hurairah, he said, you help me? I saw your wife.
You need help.
I just saw, yeah. So he said, come here, brother. He said, see this woman? She cooked for me. She cleaned for me. She helped all around the house. She do things for me. She even takes sometimes her money and she buy things for me just for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, and through her, I saved myself from hellfire. When I need her, she's there for me. He said, can I have a little patience with her mouth? So sometimes we are more sensitive than them. We're supposed to be tough, and protected, and we can't even listen to that. Sometimes it's just a fact that we are just bypassing them, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, Sheikh, is that when it comes to when a woman wants to remove herself, most times, it's still, even though she could get removed from it, it's still on the day of judgment. It's going to have to be something that was based on Islam, abuse, failure to take care of her, disregard, leaving her, abandoning her, anything like that, you know what I mean? No respect whatsoever, you know what I mean? Then she got to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But nobody has to be married to anybody they don't want to be married to. And that's just bottom line, But if she doesn't have it, I remember I was telling her sister, what do you want to get married? And she said, well, I told him I wanted a house, I wanted a car. I mean, her own house, her own car, her own money, her own this, her own that. And I said, sis, something happened, you got to pay this back. You know what I mean? And so, it was an educational thing for her. And then she ended up, taking something that was smaller. And they ended up getting married. And she was happy that she took something smaller because she had to give it back.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, SubhanAllah. But when it comes to that and the waiting period, when it comes to the sometimes there's older women who cannot have children anymore, right?
Yeah.
And they think that the brother said, well, why do I have to wait 90 days? Because she cleared a wound. She's not even able to have any more children. But that 90 days is not just based on clearing a wound. That 90 days is being able to deal with her emotionally. It takes a while for her emotionally to be able to deal with those things in life, organize her life, prepare all of these things that go on. And then at the same time, it may be that time for reconciliation, the possibility.
That's right.
Sometimes the brother wants to leave. Well, I'm going over here and stay over here. Or the sister said, well, I'm going to stay with. No, fear Allah regarding each other, you can still stay in the same. That's the way that it should be. Because if you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why are you going over here? Part of you staying in the same place, if both of you respect and honor each other and honor what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, is that for part of the possibility of reconciliation. Yeah. You in the same house, you're respecting each other, you're doing what you're supposed to do. And the possibility you see each other, you look at each other, you talk to each other,
Yeah.
you still helping your responsibility and taking care of the finances and this and that and still protecting and respecting is still there. Just because you say, okay, we're going to divorce doesn't mean that you stop your responsibilities, you know, or whatever
Exactly.
responsibility. Everybody got to have their responsibility.
There was a story, brother.